she basically went on Instagram to share her feelings and to talk about how she feels like there are a lot of people who support her work, but she
Mhm.
doesn't feel like in a lot of these spaces there's a any kind of space for her to really like be herself, because Amanda is a very outspoken and a very honest person when it
Mhm.
comes to calling out like societal injustices, and a lot of times people champion that, but they may champion it at a surface level, and that is what Amanda expresses in a lot of the videos that she shared on Instagram. And she just, voiced her frustrations in regards to that. Yeah.
Seems like she wears her heart on her sleeve, and she wants to express it every chance she gets. And sometimes that rubs the wrong people the wrong way, you know. But that shouldn't be issue when it comes to getting hired, you know, unless she's causing background trouble, you know, behind the scenes things. Has Issa Rae said anything about it? Like, has
To be
has she
honest,
got back with her?
to be honest, Issa is not the kind of person that responds to this kind of stuff. You
She don't
know,
respond to a lot of stuff, to be honest with you.
no. The interview she
She's
did with Netta Porter talking about how Warner Brothers cares more about their people on Wall Street rather than the creatives is the first time she's ever really spoken out and said anything negative in regards to the
mm,
industry. So she's
mm,
not someone who ever comes out and like talks about things like a
right,
response to things. She doesn't do that. Yeah.
right. Which is not a bad thing, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, they did was on the show for the only reason I asked because they was on the show for so long together. It was like, okay, that's like sisterly thing. And I think she did. I think is it Angel Reese? I'm sorry, forgot her name from Tiffany. I just be calling her Tiffany. Well, I think she did a couple episodes on Black Lady Sketch Comedy.
She did. Yeah.
So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so that sisterhood, I was like, okay, she's speaking out, we'll have her back, she's speaking out, they'll have her back, but I don't know. I just know every time you try to you speak against Hollywood, you get shut down for the most part. Even if you're trying to do something that's like really well, really good, it's not right. But I don't know. I just want to see if I would like to do some deep diving of like what shows that she's either trying to reach out to, or besides the getting invited to award shows,
Mm-hmm.
what movies and TV shows that she's not getting callbacks for. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
is she reaching out to these executive producers and they're just like, no, we not mess with you, or yeah, we'll get back at you, and they never get back to her? Like, is it more of that type of blacklisted, or is it just she just not feeling part of the circle anymore?
Yeah.
So,
It could be the circle, I'm
mm-hmm.
guessing, because um, one thing about Amanda is that I've seen
I mean,
her stand up, and yeah, her stand up is really
I'm
good. No, that's fine.
sorry.
She's very funny. She has really good stand up,
Mm-hmm.
and she had a show called Smart Black and Funny that she was like actually doing in Los Angeles with a lot of like black actors and comedians. And I
Okay.
think they probably put a pause to it. I'm not sure during the pandemic. I have to double check and see. But the show was pretty popular when Insecure was on HBO, and
Mm-hmm.
she's done stuff like she was on The Real, which she was
Yeah.
then let
Yeah.
go from The Real. And I really think it's not that it could be that there are certain people in certain spaces that don't really get along with her. That could be the case. But I
Mm-hmm.
really think what the thing is that there are certain gatekeepers, in
Mm-hmm.
like the higher echelons of
Right.
Hollywood. And
Right.
even though Black Hollywood is something that cultivates blackness and black culture, at the end of the day, BET is owned by Viacom. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's not all it's not all us there running
Right.
things. So
They
if you
gotta
do,
answer to that person above them
yes,
just to get the things that they have now. So it's like,
yes,
so are we gonna bring somebody that's already problematic into the fold?
mm-hmm.
Like to the table? It is that's it, which is if that's the case, then it's like, okay, well, we right back where right back square one when it comes to things. We got gatekeepers at the door, not letting certain people in. We have um it's not all about unity. It's about how we can stay at this table
Yeah.
and make sure the network flourish according to them,
Yeah.
not according to the culture. And that is a problem. When you think of that is a big problem. That's a red flag. And
Yeah.
she might be on to something, you know.
Yeah. And I don't disagree with her to an extent because
Mm-hmm.
I was just thinking about this, but there's a reason why Tyler Perry somehow has a monopoly on all the shows on BET streaming services.
Oh my God.
There's a reason why.
Yeah. It's a huge reason why. I mean, like
Yeah.
the man. I have my problems with Tyler Perry. Like I used to love his plays. Like, well, not
Yeah.
all of them.
Right.
Most of them. The first few that came out, loved them.
Mm-hmm.
Then when he started doing more movies, it's like, okay, you're doing the same thing over and over again. But
Mm-hmm.
I see what he's doing. Like, he's making sure that this network is pretty much his. He can't buy it. He just he will make sure his face is what makes this network run. And I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you have some good besides Tyler Perry. I mean, you have some good people there. I mean, like Kev on stage got his show on there, Churchy. So shout out to him for that.
Yeah.
But Tyler Perry is just gonna be always there pushing his crazy, somewhat very, very similar in style shows.
Mm-hmm.
To where it's almost the same thing. You got sisters and you got brothers, and you got Ruthless, which is I would say Ruthless is probably the most far out of left field thing he's ever done. But he's gonna be the man that at that network. I feel like he's talking directly to Viacom and making his decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing could happen with Monique. I think Taraji almost hit that black ball during the whole Color Purple run.
Yeah.
I know Oprah. Well, I don't know how true it is, but they're saying that Oprah is blaming Taraji for Color Purple not doing well in the box office and stuff like that.
Which is ridiculous because there are a number of reasons why I did not do well. Number of reasons. Don't blame it on one
Very,
person.
very. Oh, it's easy to put it on one person.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Talk to the
But
studio.
yeah. Oh my God. Listen. But he has that inner circle is strong.
Yeah.
It is very strong. And if you want to make it, well, I mean, that's not the only route you can take, but if that it
No.
seems like that's the only route you can take.
Yeah.
It's very lucrative if you can get in that circle.
Mm. For a
So
lot of like black actors, they did start with Tyler Perry movies. And,
mm-hmm,
like you said, Tyler Perry productions are very lucrative. And yes, there are other ways to get into the circle. But if you are lucky enough to do very, very well, you have to
mm-hmm,
take the Issa and Donald route where you make
mm-hmm,
outstanding projects and then you
mm-hmm.
kind of just disappear.
Yeah.
Like you can talk every so often, you can speak out every so often, or you can speak through your work. But if you're
Mm-hmm,
someone who's very vocal about certain things and maybe it rubs people the wrong way, then you may not get booked for a lot of stuff. Like Jamila
mm-hmm,
Jamil, she was on The Good Place, and that was a really good show, and it was nominated for. It was like I think well regarded for a very long time. But Jamila
mm-hmm,
Jamil hasn't really been booking much. Like she was in one episode of She-Hulk, and that's just about
mm-hmm.
all we've seen her in. I think she also was like working with the Impractical Jokers, which didn't make any sense because why would she be doing that? But like, you
Yeah,
know,
that sound left field.
but that's just another example of like someone who's talented and was well
Mm-hmm,
known and in a pretty good show, but because of like possibly because of how spoken they was and like maybe that rubbed people the wrong way, like
mm-hmm.
it caused them to take a little dip in like their bookings, so they weren't
Yeah,
really like
yeah,
seen as someone who is like someone that people wanted to work with, I guess you could
yeah.
say.
And it's a slippery slope because it's like you don't want to be too quiet and too loud because then you're gonna get in your own culture, you're gonna get labeled as coon, brown nose, you know, whatever term they can think of that is negative for you when it comes to dealing with white people and other races and not trying to stand up for your own race or your own kind or whatever. And then if you're too outspoken, then you get this situation. It's but where's the line?